So riding began as a very small child when I'm sure it was my mother's influence, because she was the rider, to put me on little horses to get what we call little donkey rides, little horsey rides. And I can remember in Khartoum, where we lived when I was 2 or 3, before we went to Singapore, the big event would be a donkey at your birthday party. That was what you had to have. And were we thrilled to have our donkeys arrive. And as life went on and other birthday parties didn't have donkeys, I was terribly disappointed. I couldn't understand when I got to Singapore. Where were the donkeys? It's my birthday. But that must have engendered something in me, because by the time I was in Singapore and Angela came with me, I remember distinctly, we would ride at the riding school. We would go gymkhanas. We would. I don't remember any hacking out. It was all in a school, definitely in a school in a ring. But I learnt properly to ride when I was in Singapore. And I know Angie was with me. For sure, she was with me. We used to go together. I was so keen that when we went back to England when I was 7, part of my joy at school, which was pretty miserable otherwise, was to ride every week. It was very regimented. It was all hacking or schooling in a school and you had exactly an hour, but it was still once a week riding. And then when I went to Istanbul, I remember riding, again, these very boring, now I was pathetically tragic actually, but I was so excited to do it. These army horses, which would go around in a circle with a ringmaster, walk, trot, canter, but I thought it was amazing and I was so happy to do it. So my dream as a teenager was that one day, I might gallop across fields. The thought of a gallop in the air, the freedom. What do I do now? Non-stop, galloping across fields, because I hunt with the Beaufort, and that's what you do. My dreams have all come true. So my side saddle riding career began, I seem to remember, just by chance. I went along to some sort of exhibition where the local pony club or whatever was showing some side saddle, and I got an opportunity to sit on this horse on a side saddle and enjoyed just sort of wandering around, really. But it stuck in my mind. So I would have been in my 20s or 30s then. Stuck in my mind that it was an interesting thing to do. And then I met a girl when I was already living in Gloucestershire in the Beaufort hunt country, where I'd already started to hunt. This girl owned a side saddle and I owned a horse. And the two of us put them together. And would you believe it, the side saddle fitted. Oh, well, I think it fitted. But the poor horse was prepared to take the side saddle. So we started together, the two of us. We hadn't a clue what we were doing, but we went for little side saddle rides. And I realised it was rather fun. And then I got much more interested because the mare clearly was enjoying the side saddle. She was quite a tricksy mare, but she would behave so beautifully when I was riding side saddle on her compared to when I was riding astride, that in fact hunting on her on the side saddle was a joy. But this had to coincide with being given a habit. A habit is the skirt and the jacket and the top hat, which you wear to ride side saddle, and this was a Beaufort habit. So it had the buff lapels, the navy jacket, and it was very old. It was at least 150 years old and given to me by local friends who'd found it in their attic, I think. Anyway, there I was, all kitted out. Now I really had to go hunting with the Beaufort on my side saddle horse and in my side saddle habit. But then I thought, I remember with the Beaufort, there's a lot of extremely experienced ladies who used to hunt side saddle, and if I get this wrong, I'm going to look a complete idiot. So I found a lady who taught side saddle riding, and I went to her for some etiquette lessons as much as the actual side saddle lessons. I mean, I did both. The etiquette is ridiculous. You must never wear black gloves, because then you're in mourning. You must always wear a bun and a veil, which partly holds the top hat on, and the bun keeps the brim of the top hat square on your head. You must never have your side saddle habit hanging around at angles. It's got to be completely horizontal. You must always sit straight on your side saddle, not slump your shoulders around. You have to get your body square to the horse. Obviously your posture is important, But the most important thing is your horse has to have a double bridle. You do not go side saddle riding in a single bridle. You must have a martingale. You also, if you're being put up, you go to a separate field where your groom or your husband puts you up onto the horse. Otherwise, you might show some knicker, and that would not do. There were all these lovely... and the whip, of course, you have to have a spur on your left leg, not on your right, which doesn't feature really. Your left leg has the spur on. The whip is carried in your right hand, and the whip is your right leg. So the whip and your left leg work together to push the horse on. You need a forward-going horse with a good shoulder, otherwise the horse and you look pretty sad. You've also got to have a horse that is prepared to jump without you making it jump, because you've only got your left leg and the whip in your right hand. It's not the same as two very strong legs round the horse, so you must have a horse prepared to take you forward. The other thing is a comfortable trot, because trotting on a side saddle is not the most comfortable thing. You try to get into canter immediately, walk to canter, but if your horse does trot, it needs to be comfortable. Luckily, my horse was part Cleveland Bay, bred for carriage driving, trotted as smoothly as a swan. Therefore, even better for me in my early days of side saddle riding was this incredibly comfortable. I could sit to her trot without any trouble at all. And bless her, she and I had a lot of fun. We were unusual. There was another girl and myself. We were the only two side saddle riders. But I held a meet here at my house and I was on my side saddle, and we looked pretty good and we had a lot of admiration. So it's a vanity thing. You must admit, it's a vanity thing. I'm afraid I have to admit, I was doing it partly for the show. But it worked because my little horse gave up her jumping. She had arthritic knees. She was unhappy to do jumping because of the landing. So we had this second string to our bow. We could go out on the side saddle. She could enjoy her day. I could enjoy my day. And this lasted for many years. But I returned to the side saddle on other horses over the years and had some lovely days out on various other horses from time to time. And I have a huge desire to do it again on my new Andalusian mare. One day, before I die, I'll hunt side saddle again with the Beaufort.